not getting enough sleep. I worry about you. I got another amp today. It's a cool one. It's an amp with which I am perhaps most acquaintanced compared to all other amps. As a matter of fact, I have 3 other versions of this amp in my idiotic possession at the moment. But this one is special for 3 reasons. I'm drinking caffeinated seltzer. Okay. Caffeinated seltzer. Sometimes you hear some clicking. It's an automatic timer. But if you do it just right, damn it. Do it just right. Damn it. Just right. Damn it. If you do it just right. Usually I do it. Usually I do it on the first try. All right. No clicks. It seems like just yesterday or the day before, we showed you the latest edition, the PD 6505 Plus. It's good to see you again. The amount of gain capable out of that amp is ignorant. When I play that amp, I become functionally illiterate. Okay. Silver-faced Fenders. I'm going to start saying silver panel Fenders. And the reason why I'm going to start saying silver panel Fenders is because I really, really want to stop saying blackface Fenders. And the existence of the silver face kind of belies the corresponding existence of the blackface Fenders. And I just don't think that there's anything that is so precious, sacred, or awesome about the word blackface in reference to a cosmetic style of Fender amplifiers that's worth sticking around. And same goes for silver face. As a silver panel works just as well, and I would like to move towards black panel. I have moved towards black panels successfully, but I feel like I'm sort of caught in between. I feel like my black panel transition would benefit from a silver panel transition. This is a personal choice. It's a personal choice that perhaps tips to you, the viewership, my political cards. And I'm happy to give you a peek. If this annoys you, I aggressively could not give a shit. And I also aggressively will be cute to you in the comments if you really want to start a fight about that. I don't know. It's, you know, life's too short to fucking keep saying blackface and to treat people who really, really, really want to keep saying blackface seriously. So, that's where I'm at. But why are we here today? We're here today because of a new amp. And we're here today because of my love, desire, affection, familiarity with silver panel era Fenders. The original silver panel Fenders, not the not the reissues. I've never had a reissue silver panel Fender, but I hear wonderful things. So I have had the. Here's a brief and entirely incomplete. It's gonna be minutes before you see the new amp. Just so in case you're already annoyed. Here's a brief but incomplete fact dump about the silver panel Fender Twin. This is from memory and grains of salt all around. The twin. Imagine the silver panel Fender Twin. It would be equivalent to like, I don't know, like the Chevrolet LS engine. It The same thing shows up in a lot of different places, and so and there's a bunch of different kind of like sub brackets for the Fender Twin. But suffice it to say, the Fender Twin is also the the dual Showman reverb. It is also the quad reverb. It is also the Super 6 reverb, and it is also the, I can't remember the last one. It's the Vibrosonic reverb. And the idea or the analogy with the Chevrolet LS engine is that the same amp is powering what Fender has marketed to the public as different as different products with different names, a la the, I don't know, like the some dumb Firebird in the '90s and a Corvette and a truck and what have you. The You've got the Drip Edge Fender. You got the Drip Edge silver panel Fenders happening at the same time that all of the other or the Drip Edge Twins happening at the same time that all other Drip Edges are, which is like 1968, 1969. And then it'll run as the non-master volume silver panel Twin until like 1972-ish, 73, I think. For a while, I had a dual Showman Reverb TFL 5000D, which sounds a lot like a Terminator, and that was one of the reasons why I liked it. And that was also a non-master volume twin. Those are all 100 watts, and they're 100 watts with 4 6L6s and a number of different 12AX7s and two in the same 20 layout that you are accustomed to, with 2 channels, 1 dry with a 3-band EQ and a bright switch, and the other one wet with tremolo, a bright switch, and a 3-band EQ. And then we add a master volume, and that happens like early 70s, and then at some point the master volume becomes a push-pull master volume. And then near the late 70s, somebody is messaging me about speakers for sale. Okay. And then in the late 70s, the push-pull... Wait, no, just said that. And then in the late 70s, the amp power ups from 100 watts to 135 watts, and the power transformer goes ultra linear. Ultra linear. There are a bunch of different like Telecaster forums posts that will help you lay out the differences between that. So I've had everything except an ultrasonic, and I currently have, which is vibrosonic. So I currently have, ostensibly, in front of you now, 3 Fender Twins, but none of them are Fender Twins. Here's the first not a Fender Twin. That's a quad reverb with a master volume. This one has been modded, and I think that when I got it, it had a push-pull pot on the master volume. That's been disabled. Vibrato, like tremolo reverb channel, taken to black panel specs, and a Marshall style EQ put on the normal channel. The push-pull pot on the master volume is a like a preamp gain boost, I think. But somebody out there could probably use more technically correct words to describe what's going on than I just did. And then next to it, go to Super 6 Reverb. And this one, no push-pull. Quad reverb, 4x12 combo. Super 6 reverb, 6x10 combo. Another Super 6 reverb, 6x10 combo. Then you also have, of course, the 2x12 twin, the cabinetless dual showman reverb, and the 1x15 vibrasonic. And, which finally, nearly 12 minutes later, brings us to today's amplifier. It's a twin reverb. It's a twin reverb with a push-pull master volume. And it's a twin reverb with, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, two, depending on how you look at it, three special attributes. The first attribute is, let's see, you can see this here on the panel, just beneath the speaker cord. You can see, where am I? You can see that it is 135 watts on the back panel. The 135 watts is letting you know that it is for sure the ultra linear version of this amp. And then the second and third special thing is an original goddamn set of beautiful goddamn Fender D120 goddamn F speakers. And boy howdy, aren't you a sight to behold. You have, we've got the same, they're Fender branded, so I think they're RCAs. I haven't pulled the power tubes yet, but those sound rad. I don't know what preamp tubes are in it. I played it for about 45 seconds today. And I will play it again for you now. Purple. Purple. Okay, that could work. This is a guitar that I have not played very often, or maybe at all, I can't recall, on the channel. It's a brand goddamn new Les Paul. It was made in 2021, which is an earlier Les Paul than I am usually accustomed to, but a real nice fella on my local Craigslist was selling it, and it was just too cheap to overlook, so I grabbed it And the only other Les Paul I've ever had besides this one is another gold top that's made its way into a couple of videos. It is a gold top deluxe from 1981. That was my first Les Paul. And I was like, okay, I get it. And then I got this one, and I was like, oh wow, I really get it. It's so good. And also, like, for one of the first times I really feel like I understood the logic of buying a new instrument. It was just like incredible. Like, you turned it on and like everything worked. And you didn't have to do anything to the frets. And it was just like, oh, it was just a delight. That's a song that I've just. Oh, look, hey, we're always writing. We're writing music. In every Loud Art Gear Supply video. Here's where you were on the amp. Nothing on the tremolo. 4 on the reverb. 3 on the bass. 7 on the mids. 6 on the highs. Bright switches off. 6 on the preamp. About 3 on the master volume. This is what 6 on the guitar is. Volume. This is loud in the room. For sure. Master Volume Twins is I think that the twin preamp breakup is great. I love it. It's its own thing. And Jesus fucking Christ! These speakers are so my shit. God damn. I just love them so much. This is 6 on the bridge pickup. We've been on the neck the entire time. That's the reverb off. What happens if nothing else changes except I pull the master volume? A little bit more hum in the room. Preamp all the way up and the master not popped. I haven't played one of the this is the first time that I've ever played the ultra linear 135 watt. Comparisons with the non-ultra linear are going to be weak at the moment because it has been months since I have played one of the Super 6s or the Quad. There's an example, a decent playing example of the Quad on another video somewhere else on the channel. Another big difference between someday, I will take the chassis out of the Quad or one of the Super 6s and I will put it into this twin. And then we can really hear what is the difference between the amp and what is the difference between the speakers that are loaded into the cabinet. Because that is also going to make a massive fucking difference. The Quad Reverb has 4 of the original Blue Label Oxford speakers. And the distortion characteristic of that is real different than the distortion characteristic of this amp with the JBL. The variable that we won't be able to sort of like speak reasonably about right this second is the ultra linear build of the power section of this twin. But what I can speak to is the difference in speakers. And one of the things that is kind of pleasant about the Quad Reverb is that with 4 speakers, even when it is massively loud, the punch is sort of dispersed a bit. And also the Oxfords, which get a bad rap for being like inefficient and like kind of flubby, really fucking kind of squat up a bit when there's 4 of them. I would imagine that the Oxfords in like a 2x12 basement cab or something like that would be a little like, who cares? But when there's 4 of them in the Quad, I really, really like it. I like that I can get some. I like. Well, I just think that sounds good, and then also, it just isn't like you could take somebody's head off with this twin in a way that is like unpleasant. Uh, you have the ability to be unpleasant with this amp. It is difficult to be unpleasant with the quad reverb, and one of the reasons is because the inefficient Oxfords compress a lot earlier in the amplitude range of the amp, and you get like a natural compression that is really kind of nice and like even at relatively and an earlier breakup than when you're dealing with more efficient speakers that are rated for higher power handling, which is exactly what these JBLs were meant to literally do and be. And that's when I say, like, you can take somebody's head off. You're capable of making sounds that are so fucking punchy and uncompressed that if you're not careful, like, you can. It's easier to sound bad in this amp, even though I love the way that this amp sounds. And also, that it's just like in the room, at least, I'm sure not quite over the phone, it just has like a like just like a boom, like you're being hit by a drippy reverb linebacker. And at least like from my recollection of the quads or the quad and the Super 6s, it's like you still are. It's a difference between being like drop kicked with the twin, and then the difference from like the loud voice of God doesn't hit you in the chest. You hear the loud voice of God sort of everywhere at once. You are like enveloped. It doesn't have a point of impact. This amp is like it has a strong point of impact. These amps also feel very, very powerful, but they feel powerful like you have just entered a sentient haze of loud tone. And not like you've been drop kicked by a reverb linebacker. Pick? No. The cabinet on top has fooled me several times into thinking that there's a pick on it because there's some old white paint on the cabinet from a previous band's ownership. I don't know who that band is, but I do know that their band initials were SOL. I think that's all I'll leave you with. I'm not really in the mood to get like super fucking loud and glam rock right this second. Got some more schoolwork that I need to do. I'm on spring break right now. But I don't get a full spring break, which is great. It's very fine. I don't get a full spring break because my second child is to be born. Not at any minute, but kind of at any minute. The due date is March 13th, and today is March 9th, I think. This is a shape. This is such a good shape. I made this up. I didn't make it up, but I stumbled upon the shape when I was just learning. When I learned a 3-note power chord, I was like, well, what other shapes can I make? Let me just make shapes. I don't know what anything is. What other shapes can I make with 3 fingers? And I can make like that shape, right? Or I can make the sort of like major power chord, like 1-3 octave. I can make the regular 1-5 octave. I can make the 1-5 flat 7 octave, like power chord. I just thought of all these things as different power chords. So 1-5, like 1-5 flat 7, or the 1 major third octave, or the 1-5 major 7, or the 1 minor third. Flat, well, what is that? Minor 6, 1 minor third minor 6, and then, but this one, this is the 1-5, 1-5 minor 6. God damn, that's such a good. It's like, I want to see you open the fucking pit. In this clean reverb, hard fucking.